Hey, listen, a great example, right, of when your number's called being ready.
DFL Football 25. Oh, shit, that's a Bills win, baby. Ow!
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's right. Bills. I guess you could say blow out the Titans in Week 7. You watched it yesterday. Now you want to consume more, and that's why you tuned in here. To get a little better, to get some takes on it, something better than you're going to hear elsewhere. You know, you don't want to tune into ESPN and all the little media bullshit. You want to hear this. Now, look, DFL Podcast had some technical difficulties this morning. I had to jump away. And just basically, I said, you know how we'll fix this? Pass the fucking mic over to the old man, Doubting Thomas. Let him throw his take on. Let him and Chucky Calzones argue it out. And but they had nothing to argue about with a great win. So you don't have to listen to too much bullshitting and bitching. Because Bills win, man. Happy Victory Monday, 34-10. Now, since Tommy and Chuck were able to get their conversation and their takes in, I figured, all right, here I'll produce this thing this week, and I'll just kind of give you an open and close. And I listened to what they had to talk about. A little pressed for time. They didn't really get all the way around the league, and I was kind of taken aback, kind of shocked, kind of disappointed in my good DFL partners here, that they didn't even kick off the beginning of this with first. Obviously, we haven't spoke since last Monday night, or last Monday afternoon. So we didn't even talk about the Jets game, and we're not going to hash over it. It's old news. This is the NFL. It's a fast-moving beast. Fuck off with last week's take. We don't need it. But we didn't even get a chance to talk about Amari Cooper yet, coming to the Bills, and how this is going to open up all the other receivers. Now, of course, Chucky and Tommy will get into some of that, but we got to start right now here with the big $230 million elephant. Let's just start with that because, I mean, my God, people. But the first thing I got to say is just how excited and thankful, happy, and grateful Amari Cooper has to be to get out of that fucking shit show going down on the other side of Lake Erie. Because, my goodness, yesterday, the fans actually booed an injured player over there. What a sad circus. I mean, I would never condone cheering for an injury. Now, however, the guy it happened to is most likely a serial sexual predator. So just let that settle in your mind. Now, I know those are allegations. I'm not jumping out here, and no one would give a shit if I did anyway. It's not like I got 1 million followers. But, oh, no, Bill Mullane said, he's saying things that should... Yeah, whatever. The truth is, he's probably guilty of something. But even if you don't know that, you can assume this probably isn't just the greatest character in the world. So let's just all agree that this guy's got a mountain of problems. What it boils down to is fans booing an injured sexual predator for $230 million. I mean, just holy Moses. I feel horrible for the Browns fans, really, because I know some Browns fans. I was actually at Fright Fest at Darien Lake this past week with my daughter and a couple of her friends, and one of their fathers came along. He's from Cleveland. He was embarrassed to even tell me what team he roots for. I said, man, we went through a 17-year drought. I don't worry who you got. He said, Browns. Oh, well, I guess if it is them right now, yeah, that is. You got to be sad. And so no wonder it manifested in the fans booing cheering basically for an injury. Booing a guy on a cart. I mean, that's some of the craziest shit show things I've witnessed in my 30 years of watching the NFL. It's sad that that franchise is in that state. It's management, man. You got and ownership. The Haslams, these people got to get out of town, man. So, as sad as it is for Cleveland over there right now, the mess that they're in, I can just tell you that I'm thankful that we brought Cooper over here. Yeah, come on. Coop! I had a good feeling he was going to drop his first target. And what's funny, too, here now is if you watched the Sunday night game, you saw Devontae Adams do the same thing. Now, they start the same way, but then look how that game finished. And I don't want to harp on this because I am a bit of a superstitious kind of guy, or at least I believe in karma. So I'm not going to go far into this, but I do like to revel in the idea that the Jets paid $230 million. Or I'm sorry, the Jets paid. They're not that bad. They paid $11 million, or they're on the hook for $11 million for Devontae Adams. They bring him in. Same start as Cooper for $800,000. It's all the Bills have to pick up. And here we have a similar start. Cooper finishes with, 5 or 6 receptions altogether, 66 yards and a touchdown. And you get a 3 for 9 for 30 yards from the much anticipated Rodgers-Adams connection. I just think they're getting up there in age, man, and it just shows what a smart move. We got to basically. I don't want to harp on the problems with the Jets. I don't want to sit here and just have fun and laugh at other teams' expenses. It should be fine, seeing it's a rival, AFC East, but I'm not going to do that. I want to be more tasteful than that, people. You're getting to know me here a little bit. You know I give you enough bullshit as it is. Let me not go down that road. But just take a second to say, hey, thanks. Brandon Beane. This guy knows what he's doing. Okay? Just trust it. Have some faith. I know that has to play out in this season and get over the hump and rot-a-doo-doo before everybody can be happy. Before this fan base, Bills Mafia, who I love and am loyal to, sometimes you guys complain a little much, man. For my liking, it goes, maybe the football guys don't want us to have a championship because they keep whining when we're winning. I don't think anyone's whining today. I know Chucky and Tommy aren't. So here we go. I'm going to kick it over to them. Here are the stats. 34-10, the Bills. Allen, 323, 2 touchdowns. Cooper, 4 catches, 66 yards. Caught one of those touchdowns. Keon Coleman went off. No scores, but 125 yards, 4 catches. Cook added a score. Defense played great. Tommy, Chucky, take it away.
Tommy, one thing that is starting to affect us all as us men get older, man, is having to take a piss every goddamn 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, man?
I do.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
How, our prostates continue to, grow and get, larger as, we age.
Yeah, they say.
You know that's what it's all about, man?
Something like that.
Yeah. So, what I'm wondering, man, is how many times you got to take a piss each day?
How many times you got to piss each day? That's the question to you.
I'll answer it later. Listen.
Don't answer it later.
He's
going to get a piece of paper and he's going to write down a little line each time he pisses, and then he'll give you a total at the end of the day. Let you know.
Okay, that's a good idea. I swear, Tommy, I swear, man, I'm pissing 20, 30 times a day, man. I drink a lot of water and coffee and smoothies for breakfast and lunch, but man, that's excessive.
Yeah, wow.
20 to 30 times, man.
Yeah.
What's your personal record?
I don't know. I've never counted, but you also have to understand. I take a water pill because they say at my age, you want to help you don't want any excessive fluids, So I take a water pill,
right.
But I mean, I'm up at.
Yeah.
I probably about 4 times a night. From the time I go to bed, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm up at about midnight, then I'm up at 2, then I'm up at 4, you know what I mean? About every couple hours, I'm up pissing. So...
Man, all these older women talking about all their problems, and men have it easy, man.
No, we have the same thing.
You gotta stop breathing in the microphone like a dog. I need you to keep your head to the side. Don't go.
I'm sorry, but now he doesn't want me to breathe.
Not into the microphone. I gotta walk away, man. Hey, Bill, do these guys know that this podcast is supposed to be about the Buffalo Bills game and not their fucking prostates? Hey, yeah, good point. Let's talk about the game there, fellas.
So overall, man, what was your overall take on that win yesterday, man? Put it all together.
Okay, I'll tell you something. What I did is I kind of analyzed the last 3 games, okay, from Jacksonville on. And not counting Jacksonville, I should say, from after Jacksonville. The last 3 games, all right? And it seems like the Bills' defense, their whole idea is to let the other team play their game in the first half. Because they have enough confidence in the offense that they're going to be able to come back on anything, right? And then after halftime, the defense shuts down the other team. I mean, they did it 3 weeks in a row now. I mean, think about it, Tennessee, right, or Houston, they had, 20 or 17-point lead, and Buffalo shut them down. They only scored 3 points, and it was at the end of the game, and they won by a field goal. All right? The following week, they did the same thing with the Jets. The Jets had that 17-point lead, right? And all of a sudden, after the second half, they couldn't do shit. They were running all over them. They were passing on them. Then they couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then yesterday, the same thing. Tennessee comes out. They put up these 10-point real quick in the first half. And everybody's saying, man, they're running all over him. He can throw anywhere he wants. And all of a sudden, nothing. All he does is punt. That's it. I mean, I'm happy for it. But it seems to me, I think that's the Bills' defensive strategy right now. And now maybe it'll change now that they have Amari Cooper, because he takes a lot of he takes heat off the other guys. So it may change.
So what do you think that part of it is like a rope-a-dope strategy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's exactly what exactly. Like the rope-a-dope strategy. I mean, how do you feel about it?
So to me, that that could make sense. That like as far as the defense, right? That our defense, McDermott is like thinking like, okay, let's see what they come out with in the whole first half. I mean, basically what we're talking about, Tommy, is like making halftime adjustments, right?
Right.
I don't know if like McDermott is like coming into the game being like, okay, let's go easy on them in the first half, see what they do, and then expose that later. Maybe he's a smart guy, so I'm not saying that there's no possibility for that. I think it's a smart theory, but also, man, the other side of the ball is like the offense kind of comes out slow, man. I mean that's kind of an issue. It didn't hurt us yesterday, man, but like against the good teams like Kansas City, Baltimore, if we see them again, Houston, if we see them again, man, we got to come out ready to go. What's the deal with that? Is it Allen? Is it because we finally have Amari, but even though Amari was probably getting up to speed,
right?
So is that what it is, man? The lack of weapons, or is it more than that? What do you think?
I don't think it's a lack of weapons. Let's say, prior Amari Cooper, the Bills were like caught between trying to develop that run game and get an even flow passing game and stuff and spreading the ball around a lot and stuff. I admit, Amari definitely pulls a lot of pressure off the other guys. You saw it yesterday. I mean, from a week before when he was like targeting, well, maybe he had like 6 different receivers or something. And yesterday it was like just about any receiver he wanted, he could find them getting open, like Shakir. I mean, he was getting open and making good yardage, Kincaid had that, long pass, So there's, it definitely makes a difference. And one thing that I have to say is that I found it really interesting because of the fact that when they asked him, well, are you going to be targeting Amari Cooper? And instead of saying, like, do you remember when he used to say about Diggs, he would say, well, he's my main target and everybody knows it? Well, when they asked him this question about Amari, he turned around and said, well, I'm going to look at him. He goes, and if they don't have him well covered, he goes, I'm going to go to him. He goes, but he goes, he's going to treat him the same as everybody else. And Amari's on target with that. He likes it that way. You know, I mean, when he was talking like, you know, he was a perfect fit for Allen. You know, I tip my hat to him. Good pick, good, you know, good guy to have. You know, dependable. He knows how to, you know, he knows how to play the game. You know, he knows how to run routes and everything. So great. And I think that loosened him up. I don't think Buffalo was sluggish on the first half. Tennessee has a strong defense. And so it wasn't so much of Buffalo starting sluggish as it was figuring out their defense to overcome it. I mean, if they would have played...
That's a pretty good... I mean, you're probably right, man. Yeah, because a lot of fans out there today, or what they were watching yesterday, that's what they were thinking, like, oh, man, here we go again. The Bills' offense is coming out slow. But, yeah, man, you're right. I mean, they're one of the best defenses in the league, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we could look at who they played so far.
Right.
They played like anybody. Super spectacular. You know, the Bills' offense is probably the best offense they've seen all year.
Could be.
But yeah, that's a fair point, Tommy. Is it more so the Bills were coming out slow, or is Tennessee just a really good defense? I think it's both of those things, man. To be honest,
and
it's both.
Yeah, it's a they might have been a little slow because of the fact that they're trying to figure out just how this defense is coming at them. Because I mean it's a game of chess. Everybody knows that. So and you don't want to make turnovers and anything like that. And so far, Allen hasn't had any.
Well, Tommy, quick stat, man. He's only the third quarterback ever that for the first 7 games played every game, and he has more than 10 or more touchdowns and no interceptions, man. Only 2 other guys have done that, right? One was Alex Smith, and the other guy was somebody from the 60s, man. I forget his
Earl
name.
Morrill.
No, not Earl the Pearl.
No.
No. That's a good guess. Earl
Yeah, I thought it was
some nobody, man. Like he's not nobody, but some not a very popular name.
Earl Morrill. My goodness, you really got to dig pretty deep into your bag of tricks to find that fucking name. I can forgive the old man. Tommy, he's forgiven me. Earl the Pearl. Wasn't that a basketball player? This is fucking chaos, fellas. What are you guys doing? I mean, I guess you can call anybody with the name Earl the Pearl. So, I'll let you slide, but the answer is fucking Nick Foles. Jesus, the guy won a Super Bowl 6 years ago.
Is this amateur hour?
Nick Foles, fellas. That's the other quarterback, Nick Foles.
Yeah, man, I think there's a lot of room for growth now that we have Cooper, man. Because it takes a lot of pressure. It takes a lot of pressure off of Allen. It takes a lot of pressure off of Keon Coleman, pressure off of Kincaid, pressure off of Shakir. Now those guys move a slot down. But Amari Cooper, I mean, I'm not, I think everybody out there knows, like, he's not like a top 5 receiver in the league right now. But I think he's top 10.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a good player. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe even great.
Yeah. It was pointed out after Buffalo picked him up. It was in a conversation with some stuff. The guy turned around and says, well, you have to understand now, he's been with 4 teams. Buffalo's the 4th one, right? And his first 3 teams, he's went to the Pro Bowl with every team he's been on.
Yeah.
He goes over 1,000 yards with every team, and in fact his worst season was this season with Cleveland, the part of it, but the quarterback they had just wasn't clicking as good with him as I think Allen's going to. But anyway, it just one more thing on that sluggish thing. You may have a point. Yeah, they may be a little sluggish. Sometimes, I'm saying, I think they're figuring out the defenses, and it's when they're playing a good defense that this takes it. But if Buffalo gets that jump early, like they did against Miami, like they did against Jacksonville, right? they're going to have the lead from the beginning, and they never look back. You know?
Right.
But the better the defense, a little more difficult it was. So let's see what happens a week and 2 weeks down the road. You know, we're going to find out soon.
Yeah.
They're playing Seattle, aren't they?
Seattle next week.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
So we can find out pretty quick in Seattle. Yeah.
Well, let's go around the league real quick, man. Starting in the division, a bad day for the rest of the AFC East yesterday, man. All three teams lost.
Right.
And it wasn't pretty for either team, man. Any of those teams. You know, Miami lost a close one, but I mean, without Tua, like, that team is just a disaster. They got no offense, man. What, they scored 10 points?
I know.
Yesterday, man.
Yeah, that was it.
And then the Aaron Rodgers circus, you know, continues to move from town to town.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday they visited Pittsburgh. You know, they came out. They came out playing well, man, and Rodgers looked okay.
Yeah.
But that team is just a circus, man.
I think you said it pretty good on your text message yesterday when you said Rodgers is looking old. And it showed. Like you say, when they first came out, he's fired up. He has his energy. You know, his peanut butter is kicked in, whatever. You know, and they get going, right? But when the Steelers took away his new addition, you know, now he's going back to his older guys, and Lazar's good. He's not, you know what I mean? He's a good receiver, and so is Williams and Wilson, right? They're good, but they were wearing down Rodgers. Rodgers can't be running around thinking that he's a 20-year-old, you know? He can't do it. He's 40-something. You know, and like, I know his line, for some reason, they were really doing good against TJ until the second half. Then all of a sudden, TJ was getting through there, and so was Haywood. And now Rodgers is getting hit, and, you know, he's got a bloody hand. And, you know, he's getting rattled, and his boy isn't getting open. And that was it. You know, they put up, what did they put up, 15 points? They shot their load in the first half.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's keep bouncing around here. I mean,
Okay.
The Pats are all but eliminated, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it for the AFC East.
Right.
But yeah, man, who scares you more, Pittsburgh or Baltimore? Who would you rather play the least in the playoffs?
To be honest with you, I'd rather see Buffalo go up against Baltimore again. And Pittsburgh bothers me for two reasons. One, their defense, I believe, is stronger than Baltimore's on the backside. Maybe not against the run so much, but against the pass, they're stronger. And when it comes to Wilson now that they have Wilson there, you see Wilson throwing? He has that arc ball going again.
It's so, you know, Tommy, it's so weird. The first quarter, maybe even the whole first half, he looked washed up, man. But then the second half, the touch passes, the moon balls, like wow, man. Like, he can turn it on. You know, he can turn it on.
Yep.
But I wonder how much, like, availability he has to turn it on versus, like, when he's going to look like he did in the first half, man. Because I think it's going to be, like, you know, two sides of the coin with him. I think he's either going to look terrible or you're going to see the vintage Russell Wilson, man. How long each game? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But here we go. So, you know, the AFC South, you know, it looks like Houston's division to lose, obviously. Maybe Indy will give them, you know, a little bit of a fight. But, man, KC, Kansas City, man, it's so frustrating. The rest of their schedule, Tommy, is probably the easiest schedule for the rest of the season for any team, man. And it's just sad.
Yeah.
I mean, the only competition they have is the Bills. And I think they play Pittsburgh on like Christmas Day.
Right, yeah. But see, now again, that's by design. When you win the Super Bowl, the following season, you're going to be playing teams that were weaker the year before. Okay, because you won the Super Bowl, and what they do is the NFL uses the other teams. They use you as their measuring stick. So how much have you improved? Because now you're playing the best. All right, and I'll tell you, this year, Kansas City, I think they win a couple of their games strictly on the mental end. And what I mean by that is the opponent thinks like, oh shit, we're playing these guys. I don't think they're as badass as they're trying to make them out to be. You look like, how did they win? They beat Baltimore because of a toe? You know? Right. If that guy's foot was a half inch in, Kansas City lost. They beat Cincinnati by what? A sack? If Burrows makes that first down, they get the field goal. Kansas City lost. You know?
Yeah.
So when they
hey man, I gotta get going here. But just real quick, man, what's your prediction for the Seahawks? What are you calling, man?
Well, you know, Doubting Thomas is going to go with the Bills, but I'll tell you one thing: I don't think the Bills are going to be able to allow Seattle jump out 10, 20 points in the first half. You know, you're going to have to play them equal. Either both teams go in with 3-7 or something like that at the halftime, or you know, because the Seahawks have a good defense, but Gino, your boy Gino, he's on fire, man. He's on fire.
I like Gino.
You know.
Yeah, I think it'll be a tough game, man. But I think the Bills come out on top.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe by a touchdown or a field goal.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Chucky. You guys did pretty good. You guys did all right. Having a conversation. Sans, your pal Bill. I'll tell you what, I think anyone listening, you've done a much better job. Because trust me, people, I've known those two my entire life. And I can hardly stand 20 minutes alone talking to either one of them. So you pained through it. And you listen to some good takes. They said some good things. That's Bo Nix, the Earl the Pearl comments. But Nick Foles. Listen, folks, let's not jinx Allen. I have to correct Tommy. Said, he hasn't given the ball away. First drive of the year. Remember, there was a fumble, but absolutely no interceptions to date. And let's keep it going. Unlike those two cowards, I am gonna go ahead and just call a blowout. I think I'll do it. Bills, take care in the 23rd man, or was it the 13th? The 13th man. The Seahawks Stadium. Bills taking on the Seahawks next week. I'll say I'm gonna go with all right. I won't go blowout. I'm gonna go 24-19. Bills win. All right. And now what I need all you out there to do, anyone listening, go ahead and drop in the comments. Let us know. Give a pick. Give a pick already. A week early. A way too early game day pick for next week. All right. The 4:30 game out there in the Pacific Northwest. All right. Drop a comment. Like. Subscribe. The DFL podcast. Come on, man. You know, and we're gonna figure something else out here too. We're getting some other shit going. We're gonna start really amping this thing up in the coming weeks. You wait till playoff time. You people are gonna be shitting your pants with anticipation every week, on edge, waiting for the next episode. I don't just talk this shit, man. You guys, listen. You're gonna get to know me, and you're gonna realize, holy hell, what a monster Bill Mullane and this crew is over there at the DFL podcast. I love what they're doing. You're going to be like, Pat McAfee? What? Who's that? What's that guy? Who? These guys don't know what they're talking about. Colin Coward? Colin, I can't even pick the Bills to be number one every week because I'm a coward. No, listen. Stephen A. It's fluid. My ass is fluid. All right, listen. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're fools. No. Listen, seriously, I got a lot of respect for all those people. Whatever, we're not doing all that shit. But I'll give you the top 5. Bills, number 1. All right, of course, man. Come on, why not? Kansas City, I guess, can slide in at number 2. They really have been, pulling some things out of their ass. Now, they didn't do that yesterday against San Francisco. That was decent. They put on a hell of a show against a beat-to-shit team. I mean, come on. They lost everybody. I don't have a lot of faith in Brock Purdy. I know a lot. You can come yell at me in the comments. Be like, oh, he's the greatest thing since rye toast. He's the greatest thing since pumpernickel peanut butter. I mean, what is he? I mean, it's the reason you're last picked in the draft. Now, I didn't enter the draft. I decided not to. But this guy, it's the weapons around him, and now his weapons are all done. And I think he's gotten better over the last couple of years. I mean, of course, you do anything over and over, you're going to get better at it. So, God bless him. He's doing a great job. But he's just not going to carry that team to beat Kansas City. And Kansas City's got a hell of a defense. But, so I'll put Kansas City number 2 because of their defense. 3 is going to have to be Baltimore. 4, probably the Texans. And let me blow your mind here. I'm going to go ahead and just put Pittsburgh in at 5. That's my top 5 AFC. The Bill list. The only list you need right now. But I'm going to get Chucky and Tommy maybe to give me their top 5. And maybe we'll do shit like that every week. But you know what? No surprises, people. Because you know what? Know who's number 1? It's Buffalo, man. Come on. Don't be silly. Don't be like these other people. Don't be a coward and refuse to pick them and put them number 1. It's just sad. Well, hey, Bills Mafia, listening to this, I know you won't do that. You're not foolish, Bills Mafia. You know what's up. Let's go, Buffalo! Booyah! See you next week, people.
Is this amateur hour?